Alright, let's get started. Here's how to paint your pet, even if this is your first time painting anything. And even though this is not your beautiful pet, the basic 5 steps and the techniques are pretty much the same, so let's begin. Step 1. We always start with the background. Grab your white brush and paint around your pet's shape. Let it dry, then add a second layer. I didn't do that here, which is why you can still see some white peeking through. If you go over the sketch lines a little, we're gonna cover those up later. Here's a tip. Every time you switch colors, wash a brush and pat it dry on a paper towel. That keeps your colors clean and prevents them from turning muddy. Here's a tip on mixing paints. When mixing colors, always start with the lighter color first. This should be your base. Then slowly add tiny amounts of the darker or more intense color. It's much easier to darken a light color than to lighten a dark one. Mix a little at a time and test it on scrap paper or the edge of your palette. And remember, don't aim for perfection. Most natural tones aren't just one flat color anyway. Now to step 2. We're going to block in the base colors. This just means painting the big areas, like your pet, a collar, or any other objects. Don't stress about details yet. We're just laying down the foundation. And if you accidentally painted over part of your pet, this is a great time to fix it. Now let me show you how to fix some mistakes. If you mess up while the paint is still wet, no big deal. Just grab a wet paper towel and gently dab off the paint before it dries. Watch the paint disappear. And now you're ready to paint right over it. And if the paint has already dried, no problem. Just paint over it like nothing happened. It's all part of the process. Now to step 3. This is the longest step, and it's the most intimidating part for some. But don't worry, just be patient and trust the process. Let's start building fur with shadows and highlights. Look closely at the reference image that came with your kit. Pay attention to where the light hits and where the dark areas fall. Here is a tip. Take your base color and mix it with a little bit of white. Use this mix to paint your highlights. And for shadows, mix a tiny bit of black or a darker tone into that same base color. You'll need to go back and forth between your painting and the reference image, and you might be switching from painting highlights to painting shadows back and forth. Don't worry if it doesn't look great yet. That's normal, and as you build up layers, it's gonna look better and better. Remember to always paint in the direction of the fur. We added little lines in your sketch to guide you. Here is how to fix another common mistake. If you accidentally paint over an area that's still wet, the new layer might just disappear or mix in badly. That's what happened here when I tried to paint white hairs over a wet layer. They just disappeared. This time I won't try to absorb it with a paper towel, because I already have some layers there that I don't want to ruin. So instead, I'm going to let it dry completely, move on to a different part and get back to it later. Be patient. While I wait for the ears to dry, I'm going to work on some deeper shadows. Here I'm using burnt sienna according to the instructions that came with this kit. It looks intense at first, but we'll blend it out. I diluted the paint by adding water. Diluted paint is just thinner, more transparent paint. It flows more easily and lets you build color gradually. Perfect for soft shadows or soft edges. My brush is almost dry already, which is perfect for giving some texture to the fur. So I won't wet it again just yet. And again, I keep looking at my reference image that came with the kit to see where the darkest parts are, and I paint them with short strokes. Now let's talk texture. To give the illusion of fur like the fine hairs in the ears, use dry brushing. This just means that you're not wetting your brush anymore. Instead, pat it dry, get just a small amount of paint, then slightly drag it across the canvas. It creates a wispy effect, which is perfect for fur. Here's another tip. Don't try to paint every single strand of hair, just a few here and there to give the illusion of fur. Now I'm going back and adding more highlights. Now that the ears are dry, I'll go back and paint the white hairs inside. Your pet's fur isn't one solid color, so feel free to grab a little from here, a little from there. That gives it dimension and texture. I'm using white to add highlights around the ears to help them stand out. I like how my shadows and highlights are looking so far, so I'll move on to step 4. Let's paint the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. I'm also outlining the dog's tag to make it pop more. Now let's move on to step 5, the last step. I'll just be adding some final details and an outline to make my painting look less flat and more dimensional. Grab a darker color like dark gray or burnt sienna and outline some of the features. Trace over parts of your sketch to make them stand out. Here's another tip. If your painting still looks a little flat, create contrast. Put a dark color right next to a light one. That helps everything look more three-dimensional. Add some highlights to the eyes and the nose. And we're done! You did an awesome job painting your one-of-a-kind pet.